Did you know that simply reheating certain foods can secretly turn them toxic? Shocking new medical warnings reveal that 5 everyday foods, which seem harmless at first, may actually produce dangerous compounds when reheated. These hidden toxins have been linked to serious health risks, including cancer and dementia, especially in older adults. In today's video, we'll uncover the 5 common foods you should never reheat, explain the science behind why they become dangerous, and share safe, senior-friendly alternatives you can enjoy without worry. If you're over 60 or cooking for loved ones, this could be life-saving information you won't want to miss. Let's begin with a vibrant green that's often hailed as a superfood, spinach. This nutritional powerhouse is celebrated worldwide for its incredible versatility and abundant health benefits. Whether you blend it into a refreshing smoothie, saute it into a flavorful stir-fry, layer it generously in a comforting lasagna, or simply toss it fresh into a crisp salad. Bursting with essential vitamins like A, C, and K, along with vital iron and powerful antioxidants, spinach is a beloved choice for anyone looking to boost their health. However, a widespread kitchen habit, reheating spinach, particularly after it has been stored in the fridge for a while, can subtly transform this beneficial superfood into a potential health hazard, creating risks that are particularly relevant as our bodies mature. The core of this concern lies in spinach's naturally high nitrate content. In their fresh, natural form, these nitrates are not only harmless but are actually beneficial for your body, contributing to healthy blood flow, helping to reduce blood pressure, and even enhancing exercise performance, as highlighted by reputable studies published in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The real issue arises because the chemistry of these nitrates changes under specific conditions. When spinach is cooked, then left to cool and stored, especially if kept at room temperature for too long, or even refrigerated for extended periods, and subsequently reheated, particularly in a microwave or at high temperatures, a concerning chemical transformation takes place. The once beneficial nitrates begin to break down into nitrites, and these nitrites can then further convert into compounds known as nitrosamines, which have been extensively studied and definitively linked to carcinogenic properties. These nitrosamines are far from a minor concern. Extensive research, including studies from the World Health Organization and the National Cancer Institute, has directly linked these compounds to an increased risk of various cancers, particularly those affecting the gastrointestinal tract, such as stomach and colorectal cancer. More recently, emerging research also suggests that nitrosamines may contribute to neurological damage, potentially worsening conditions like cognitive decline and even playing a role in the development of neurodegenerative diseases over time, a critical consideration for our aging brains. The insidious nature of this transformation from nitrates to nitrosamines is that it's subtle and completely invisible. You won't see or taste it, making it an undetected risk for those unaware of the underlying science. This particular issue carries heightened significance for older adults because as we age, our bodies naturally become more susceptible to environmental and dietary toxins. Our cellular repair mechanisms tend to slow down, and our detoxification systems become less efficient at neutralizing harmful compounds. What might have been a minor, quickly managed issue in our 20s or 30s can have a much more pronounced and lasting impact in our 50s, 60s, and beyond, especially on delicate and crucial systems like the brain and nervous system. For instance, chronic exposure to even low levels of nitrosamines has been associated with persistent inflammation, a widely recognized contributor to cognitive decline, and conditions such as Alzheimer's disease, as noted in studies featured in publications like Neurology. Consider a familiar scenario. You lovingly prepare a large pot of spinach-laden vegetable soup on Sunday, envisioning delicious, healthy meals throughout the coming week. By Tuesday, you grab a portion and reheat it quickly in the microwave for a convenient lunch. While the soup tastes perfectly fine, that reheated spinach may now harbor nitrosamines that form silently during its storage and reheating. Over weeks, months, or even years of unknowingly repeating this habit, these potentially harmful compounds can gradually accumulate in your system, stealthily contributing to long-term health risks that might only manifest much later. The empowering news is that the solution doesn't require you to eliminate spinach from your diet entirely. In its fresh form, it remains one of the healthiest foods you can possibly eat. Instead, the key is to adopt smarter preparation and consumption habits. Whenever it's feasible, aim to consume spinach either fresh or only lightly cooked and enjoyed promptly. If you've prepared a dish that includes spinach and have leftovers, try to enjoy them cold. Think a delicious spinach salad or a chilled soup to completely bypass the reheating process. If reheating truly cannot be avoided, do so gently, using a lower heat setting on your stovetop rather than the intense, uneven heat of a microwave, and crucially, avoid reheating the same spinach multiple times. Furthermore, always store spinach-containing dishes promptly in the refrigerator and make an effort to consume them within a day or two to significantly minimize the opportunity for nitrate breakdown. Knowledge truly is power. Understanding how your everyday kitchen practices can profoundly influence your health empowers you to make informed and protective choices. By implementing small adjustments, such as prioritizing fresh or cold spinach, you can actively safeguard your body and your precious brain from these silent, accumulating risks, ensuring that this wonderfully nutrient-packed vegetable remains a cherished health ally rather than an unrecognized threat. Next on our list are potatoes, a universally beloved comfort food cherished across countless cultures for their affordability, remarkable versatility, and deeply satisfying texture. Whether skillfully mashed with butter, beautifully roasted with aromatic herbs, baked to a crispy-skinned perfection, or gently simmered in a hearty, soul-warming stew, potatoes stand as a comforting cornerstone of countless meals. However, a lesser-known risk emerges when potatoes are subjected to a common household cycle: cooked, then allowed to cool, stored, and subsequently reheated. This seemingly harmless process can trigger compositional changes within the potato that may pose significant health risks, especially if not handled with proper care. When potatoes are initially cooked, their complex starches break down into a soft, easily digestible form that our bodies readily process for energy. The critical point occurs as these cooked potatoes cool down, particularly if they are left at room temperature for an extended period or refrigerated too slowly. During this cooling phase, these starches undergo a process known as retrogradation, transforming into resistant starch. While resistant starch in moderation can actually be quite beneficial, acting as a prebiotic that nourishes beneficial gut bacteria and helps regulate blood sugar, according to research in the Journal of Nutrition, the trouble often begins when these cooled potatoes are then reheated, especially if done rapidly using high heat methods like microwaving or with uneven heating techniques. The primary and most significant concern with reheated potatoes centers on their potential to harbor harmful bacteria, notably Clostridium botulinum, the notorious bacterium responsible for botulism. This risk is considerably amplified if potatoes are cooked while wrapped tightly in foil, a practice that creates an oxygen-poor environment, and then allowed to cool slowly at room temperature before being stored. These specific conditions create an ideal breeding ground for C. botulinum, which thrives in low-oxygen, starchy environments. Even if the potatoes appear and smell perfectly normal, this dangerous bacterium can produce potent neurotoxins that are entirely odorless, tasteless, and invisible, yet capable of causing severe illness, which can include symptoms like nausea, profound dizziness, and in rare and extreme cases, life-threatening neurological complications. For older adults, this risk is particularly unsettling. As we age, our immune function naturally declines, and the efficiency of our digestive systems often diminishes, leaving our bodies less equipped to effectively combat bacterial toxins. Moreover, the crucial gut-brain axis, a rapidly expanding area of medical research, underscores how directly our gut health influences our cognitive function. Chronic inflammation, often caused by harmful bacteria or their toxins in the gut, has been linked to an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, as consistently noted in studies published in Frontiers in Neuroscience. Therefore, the seemingly innocuous act of reheating leftover mashed potatoes could, over time, subtly contribute to systemic inflammation that silently impacts both physical and precious mental health. Imagine you've baked a delicious tray of potatoes for dinner, wrapped any extras in foil, and placed them in the fridge. A couple of days later, for a quick meal, you reheat a portion in the microwave for a speedy side dish. While undeniably convenient, this practice could potentially introduce low levels of bacterial toxins into your system, which may unfortunately accumulate with repeated exposure. The risk is even greater if those potatoes were left to cool slowly on the counter before refrigeration, as this extends the critical window during which harmful bacterial growth can flourish. To enjoy potatoes safely and maximize their benefits, follow a few straightforward guidelines. First and foremost, endeavor to cook only the amount of potatoes you intend to eat fresh whenever possible. If you absolutely must store leftovers, make sure to cool them down very quickly. Spreading them out on a tray can help, and then store them in clean, airtight containers, avoiding foil, in the refrigerator to inhibit bacterial growth. When it comes to reheating, always opt for a stovetop or oven to ensure thorough and even heating throughout, and crucially, avoid reheating potatoes more than a single time. If your leftover potatoes have been sitting in the fridge for more than 2 days, or if they exhibit any signs of spoilage such as an unusual odor or discoloration, always err on the side of caution and discard them without hesitation. Potatoes remain a nutritious and incredibly delicious food when prepared and handled with the appropriate care. By being consistently mindful of how you store and reheat them, you can significantly minimize risks and maximize their inherent benefits. For older adults who are often keenly focused on preserving energy, safeguarding memory, and maintaining overall vitality, these small but significant adjustments in food handling can make a remarkable difference in their long-term health and quality of life. Our third food under scrutiny is eggs, a foundational cornerstone of global cuisine, prized for their affordability, incredible versatility, and remarkable nutritional density. Whether you prefer them scrambled fluffy for breakfast, perfectly hard-boiled for a convenient snack, or expertly incorporated into rich quiches and hearty casseroles, eggs are a popular go-to protein source, generously packed with essential nutrients like choline, which is vital for brain health, and high-quality protein, indispensable for muscle maintenance. However, a widespread habit, that of reheating cooked eggs, especially in a microwave or at high temperatures, can, quite surprisingly, transform this wholesome and nutritious food into one that may present subtle yet potentially significant health risks. When eggs are initially cooked, their delicate proteins undergo a fundamental process called denaturation, where they unfold and reconfigure into a form that is readily digestible by our bodies. This is a perfectly natural and beneficial aspect of cooking. The issue arises when already cooked eggs are subsequently reheated, particularly if the heat is uneven or excessively intense. This triggers further chemical changes that can unfortunately compromise both their safety and their nutritional value. Two primary concerns emerge from this reheating process: the breakdown of sulfur compounds and, more importantly, the oxidation of cholesterol. Sulfur compounds, naturally present in eggs, can degrade during reheating, leading to the characteristic rubbery texture and an unappealing, off-putting sulfurous odor that many find unpleasant. Far more concerning, however, is the oxidation of cholesterol found in the egg yolk. When eggs are reheated, particularly at high temperatures, their cholesterol can oxidize into compounds known as oxysterols. These oxysterols have been directly linked to increased inflammation throughout the body and a higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, according to insightful research published in the Journal of Lipid Research. In turn, chronic inflammation is a well-established contributor to cognitive decline, memory impairment, and the progression of neurodegenerative conditions like dementia, as underscored in critical studies from Nature Review's Neurology. These effects hold particular significance for older adults, who are inherently more vulnerable. As we age, our bodies process fats less efficiently, our arteries naturally become less flexible, and our brains become increasingly sensitive to inflammatory processes. This means that seemingly minor dietary habits, such as quickly reheating scrambled eggs for a fast breakfast, can accumulate into outsized consequences over an extended period. For example, imagine you conscientiously hard-boil a batch of eggs on Sunday, planning to enjoy them as convenient, healthy snacks or meals throughout the week. By Wednesday, you microwave one to warm it up. While it may still appear to be a healthy, protein-packed choice, the egg's proteins have become tougher, and its cholesterol may have oxidized, potentially introducing inflammatory compounds into your system. Over months or even years, this seemingly harmless habit could contribute to pervasive systemic inflammation that silently erodes your overall health and well-being. To effectively minimize these risks, prioritize eating eggs fresh, immediately after they've been cooked. If you regularly batch cook eggs for convenience, consider enjoying them cold, perhaps sliced into salads, tucked into sandwiches, or simply eaten as a convenient snack, rather than opting to reheat them. If reheating becomes absolutely necessary, always use gentle, even heat, such as a low-temperature stovetop method, and conscientiously avoid multiple rounds of reheating the same eggs. Additionally, make sure to store cooked eggs promptly in the refrigerator and consume them within a few days to preserve both their quality and their safety. If an egg emits an unusual odor, appears discolored, or has been stored for an excessively long time, it is always prudent to discard it. Eggs undeniably remain a nutritional superstar when prepared thoughtfully and consumed with awareness. By making these small yet impactful changes to how you handle and consume them, you can continue to relish their numerous benefits while effectively minimizing potential risks. These seemingly minor decisions, how you choose to store, reheat, or enjoy your eggs, can cumulatively add up to significant health advantages over time, powerfully supporting your energy levels, cognitive function, and overall well-being. Your body, having served you for decades, deserves the utmost care and respect. And sometimes that vital care begins with rethinking something as fundamental as your morning breakfast routine. Our attention now turns to chicken, a true culinary staple in countless households, revered for its remarkable versatility, affordability, and well-earned reputation as a healthy, lean source of protein. Whether perfectly grilled, masterfully roasted, or simply baked, chicken is a favored choice for fitness enthusiasts, busy families, and indeed, anyone committed to maintaining a balanced and wholesome diet. Many of us commonly prepare chicken in larger batches, thoughtfully storing the leftovers in the refrigerator to provide quick, convenient meals throughout the week. It's a method that is undeniably convenient, saves valuable time, and appears on the surface to be an incredibly practical choice. However, here's a surprising and often overlooked fact you may not have considered. Reheating chicken, particularly when employing common methods like microwaving or using high-heat ovens, can subtly alter its molecular composition in ways that may actively contribute to chronic inflammation, uncomfortable digestive issues, and even significant long-term health concerns. When you initially cook chicken, the applied heat expertly transforms its intricate protein structure in a manner that makes it far more digestible. The proteins undergo denaturation, essentially breaking down into forms that your stomach and intestines can process with impressive efficiency. The issue arises when you reheat that same chicken, especially if the reheating process is uneven, which frequently occurs in a microwave, or if the temperature is excessively high. Those proteins endure a second, potentially detrimental transformation. This additional exposure to heat can cause the proteins to become tougher, more rigid, and significantly less bioavailable, meaning your body must exert considerably more effort to properly break them down and extract their nutrients. For younger individuals with robust and resilient digestive systems, this subtle change might not be immediately noticeable or cause much discomfort. However, as we gracefully age, our natural production of digestive enzymes and stomach acid often declines, making it increasingly challenging to process foods that were once easily handled. The result? You might begin to experience bothersome bloating, a general sense of discomfort, or a vague feeling of sluggishness after consuming reheated chicken without fully connecting these dots back to the reheating process itself. The impact of reheated chicken, however, extends far beyond mere digestion, and this is where the stakes truly escalate for long-term health. Groundbreaking research in nutritional science has clearly demonstrated that reheating proteins like chicken can unfortunately lead to the formation of specific compounds that actively trigger low-grade systemic inflammation throughout the body. These compounds, prominently known as advanced glycation end products, AGEs, form when proteins and fats are subjected to high heat exposure multiple times. AGEs are particularly alarming because they represent more than just a minor inconvenience. They are inextricably linked to chronic inflammation, which is now unequivocally recognized as a root cause for a myriad of debilitating health issues that emerge and worsen with age. Inflammation doesn't solely manifest as observable joint pain or swelling. It is a silent, insidious driver of far more serious conditions such as heart disease, insulin resistance, which can lead to type 2 diabetes, and even profoundly impactful neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's and various forms of dementia. Over time, The cumulative effect of regularly consuming foods that promote this low-grade inflammation, even in seemingly small amounts, can gradually wear down your body's inherent resilience, leaving you far more vulnerable to these prevalent age-related diseases. Let's illustrate this with a relatable scenario to make it more tangible. Imagine it's a tranquil Sunday evening, and you've skillfully prepared a large batch of delicious roasted chicken breasts, intending for them to provide easy meals throughout the coming week. You carefully store them in the refrigerator, and then on Tuesday, you effortlessly reheat a portion in the microwave for a quick and convenient lunch. You might vaguely notice that the chicken possesses a slightly rubbery texture, perhaps even a faint, unfamiliar off flavor, but you likely shrug it off, telling yourself it's still perfectly edible, right? What you might not fully realize is that this subtle alteration in texture and taste is a tangible reflection of deeper chemical changes occurring within the food. The proteins have endured a second round of heat-induced damage, resulting in a product that is not only less palatable, but also significantly harder for your body to adequately process. This in turn places a subtle, yet very real and accumulative strain on your digestive system, a strain that, over extended periods, can cascade into stress on your immune system and even your delicate nervous system. This issue takes on particular critical importance for older adults who may already be contending with a range of inflammation-related challenges such as chronic arthritis, persistent high blood pressure, or a recurring cognitive fog that affects mental clarity. Chronic low-grade inflammation acts much like a slow-burning, persistent fire within the body, subtly sapping energy, dulling precious mental clarity, and even negatively affecting mood and overall emotional well-being. For someone in their 50s, 60s, or beyond, these accumulating effects can make daily life feel significantly more taxing and less vibrant than it truly needs to be. While making the conscious choice to avoid reheated chicken won't miraculously resolve all existing health issues, it represents a straightforward, actionable step you can take to significantly reduce unnecessary and insidious stress on your body. By implementing such small, mindful changes, you are actively affording your biological system a greater opportunity to dedicate its precious energy towards vital repair, effective recovery, and the all-important maintenance of your overall vitality. So, what practical steps can you implement to proactively minimize these risks? Firstly, reevaluate how you reheat leftovers. If reheating chicken is absolutely essential, do so with gentle care. Utilizing a low-temperature oven or a stovetop method can significantly help in preserving the protein structure more effectively than the harsh, uneven blast of a microwave. Better yet, consider cleverly incorporating your leftover chicken into cold dishes such as refreshing salads or convenient wraps, where the need for reheating is completely eliminated. Another highly effective strategy is to simply cook smaller batches of chicken that you intend to consume fresh, thereby reducing the necessity for extensive storage and reheating altogether. These seemingly small adjustments might appear minor at first glance, but their impact is profoundly cumulative over time, particularly as your aging body becomes more acutely sensitive to dietary stressors. The crucial takeaway here is that the way you prepare your food matters immensely, just as much as your initial food selection. Chicken itself is an undeniably nutritious choice, but how you handle it after the initial cooking can make a significant, tangible difference in how it ultimately affects your precious long-term health. By being deeply mindful of habits like reheating, you are not merely feeding your body, you are actively demonstrating profound care and unwavering respect for its continued well-being. As we gracefully navigate the journey of aging, these small, consistent acts of mindfulness become powerful, indispensable tools for diligently protecting our cherished long-term vitality. Finally, we turn our attention to mushrooms, another remarkable nutritional powerhouse cherished globally for their distinctive earthy flavor, satisfyingly unique texture, and impressive array of health benefits. They are truly packed with powerful antioxidants, essential fiber, valuable B vitamins, and notable immune-supporting compounds like beta-glucans. Mushrooms make a fantastic addition to almost anything, from savory stir-fries and warming soups to fluffy omelets and hearty side dishes. Whether you're gently sautéing cremini, expertly grilling portobellos, or slowly simmering shiitakes, mushrooms infuse meals with a unique depth and offer tangible benefits for heart health, robust immunity, and even crucial cancer prevention. However, there exists a lesser-known downside to this culinary favorite. Mushrooms are exquisitely sensitive to reheating. This sensitivity affects not only their taste and texture, but also how your body responds to them, potentially disrupting your internal chemistry in unexpected and unfavorable ways. Unlike many other vegetables, mushrooms possess a unique biological composition that includes complex proteins, delicate enzymes, and nuanced fats. When you cook them fresh, these components break down in a controlled manner, elegantly releasing their rich flavors and making their valuable nutrients more accessible and beneficial to your body. The problem arises when you reheat mushrooms, especially multiple times or using harsh high-heat methods like microwaving. Their delicate structure undergoes further, often detrimental, degradation. The complex proteins and enzymes break down into less digestible forms, which can regrettably lead to uncomfortable digestive issues, noticeable bloating, or a heavy, sluggish feeling after consumption. This effect is particularly pronounced for older adults, whose digestive systems may already operate with less efficiency due to age-related declines in enzyme production and overall gut motility. What might have been a minor, transient inconvenience in your 20s or 30s can readily become a persistent and noticeable source of discomfort in your 50s and beyond. The concerns surrounding reheated mushrooms extend significantly beyond just digestion and delve into a deeper, more pervasive issue: oxidative stress. When mushrooms are improperly stored, for instance, left in a sealed plastic container where moisture can accumulate, or when they are reheated unevenly, their proteins and fats can undergo oxidation, forming compounds that directly contribute to cellular damage. Oxidative stress is a crucial player in the overall aging process and in the development of chronic diseases, actively driving inflammation and increasing the risk of conditions such as cardiovascular disease, accelerated cognitive decline, and even neurodegenerative disorders. Studies have consistently shown that oxidized compounds present in food can significantly exacerbate this stress, placing an additional, often unseen burden on your body's vital antioxidant defenses. For seniors or individuals managing existing chronic health conditions, this added stress can manifest as persistent fatigue, disconcerting brain fog, or a weakened, compromised immune response. Let's consider a practical, everyday example to illustrate this point. Suppose you've masterfully prepared a delicious mushroom risotto for dinner, rich with the earthy notes of cremini and delicate oyster mushrooms. It's a wonderfully comforting, nutrient-packed meal, and you carefully store the tempting leftovers in the fridge. The very next day, you decide to reheat a portion in the microwave, but you notice with some disappointment that the mushrooms have entirely lost their original tender, juicy quality. They are now unpleasantly chewy, perhaps a bit slimy, or possess an off-putting, muted flavor. These sensory changes are much more than just a culinary disappointment. They are a clear indication that the mushroom's delicate proteins and fats have undergone significant unfavorable chemical changes. The once beneficial nutrients have transformed into compounds that your body struggles to process effectively, potentially contributing to unwelcome inflammation or detrimental oxidative stress with every bite. The altered texture of reheated mushrooms offers another vital clue. Freshly cooked mushrooms are plump, vibrantly flavorful, and wonderfully satisfying. After reheating, however, they frequently become rubbery, watery, or excessively soft, signaling a profound loss of their structural integrity. This degradation doesn't simply affect your enjoyment, it undeniably reduces their nutritional value and markedly increases the likelihood of digestive or systemic issues for older adults who may already contend with bothersome bloating, gas, or irregular digestion. These subtle changes in food quality can sadly compound existing challenges, making it harder to precisely pinpoint the root cause of discomfort. To effectively minimize these risks, handle mushrooms with extra vigilance and care. If you find yourself with leftover cooked mushrooms, store them promptly in a sealed glass container within the fridge to prevent excessive moisture buildup, which can accelerate both spoilage and unwanted oxidation. When the time comes to reheat them, always opt for gentle methods, such as a low-heat stovetop or oven, to preserve as much of their original structure and nutritional integrity as possible. Even better, consider truly enjoying leftover mushrooms cold. They can be delightfully tossed into a fresh salad with a drizzle of quality olive oil, a squeeze of lemon, and some fragrant fresh herbs. They can be just as delicious and satisfying without introducing the potential risks associated with reheating. If you're cooking mushrooms in the first place, make a conscious effort to prepare only what you anticipate eating in one sitting to entirely circumvent the need for future storage and reheating. The broader, profoundly important lesson here is that seemingly small dietary choices, diligently practiced over time, can exert a significant cumulative impact on your overall health. Choosing to avoid reheating mushrooms might appear to be a trivial adjustment, but it effectively removes one less source of subtle strain on your digestive and immune systems over the long run. These mindful, deliberate choices can help you feel notably lighter, considerably more energized, and fundamentally better equipped to gracefully handle the multifaceted challenges that come with aging. By paying meticulous attention to how you thoughtfully prepare and diligently store sensitive foods like mushrooms, you are making a powerful and consistent investment in your precious long-term vitality, one thoughtful meal at a time.